here I am, in the place to be. Mr. K and B, you fuck with me. Extra sexy, extraordinary. Palms are hairy, your mama pop my cherry.
What up, y'all? It's KMB, the Sexy Ninja, in the place to be for a Paper Saber universe, and this is the Sexy Ninjacast podcast for that ass. I finally saw Spider-Man Brand New Day. My first initial reaction out of the movie was like, damn, that was good. Not as good as No Way Home. And then I started thinking about it. The movie just kept on creeping up there. More questions, this and that. And spoilers, okay? I'm going to say that right now. I really love this movie. I think this is one of those levels of Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire feels, because you get to go on this journey with the hero and how much he lost, how much he sacrificed, because it was the right thing to do. Because you remember when Spider-Man had to like have Doctor Strange cast a spell for everybody to forget him, including MJ, including Ned. It was heartbreaking, and it was kind of like, how are you going to deal with that in this movie? And I think they do it really well. The beats of the story is really fun. And there's like 3 or 4 times where I almost I did tear up and was just like, damn, he has lost so much, but he's still being the hero we need him to be. He's being Spider-Man. He's not being Peter Parker. And that's the concept of this movie, is like, he's just Spider-Man, and he's friends with the head of the police, and that's like his only friend, he's calling her and talking to her. It's the only connection he has to the real world. And he's going through this mutation of his powers by himself, and it's kind of like he has to choose. Does he want to be Spider-Man? Does he want to be Peter Parker? And when he sees Ned and MJ and they're living their lives, and MJ's got a boyfriend, he's just like, oh, the world has moved on, but I'm still going to be Spider-Man. And that's what just hurt so bad. I got the key to the city, got no one to share it with. And he becomes so infused with himself, he sees one person's like, hey, how you doing? You live here? And he's like, oh, okay, I don't like this. And he moves into like the attic of this town because he just wants to be alone. And he's holding on to this letter he wrote for MJ saying like, he had it at the end of No Way Home when he went to the coffee shop before she went off to college. And he gave up his college career to go to, was it IT Tech or something like that? Yeah, he just gave it all up. And at the end of No Way Home, I just remember him being like, And the elements of Jean Grey in this movie was awesome too. Sadie Sink, the actress. I was just like, oh my gosh, this is perfect casting. I already knew this was coming. I was trying to avoid spoilers like crazy. I finally got the small potato, big potato references now, because I was seeing those all over Twitter. And Black Widow confirmed in this movie. Yolanda, Florence Pugh, she's in this movie, and she adds a little bit of like helping Peter, because things are going on. Damage control. It's like, damage control bad guys? What? And Jean Grey's sort of the bad guy. She just wanted her sister back. And I think that's what threw me off too. Sarah Grey. I think that's what hung me up the most. Like, being a comic book guy, I was like, Sarah Grey. I was like, why is that? And I was like, okay. And I went through all my knowledge. I was like, okay, Dark Phoenix. Okay, that Chris Claremont, And she never had powers like Jean. I kind of like how they reworked it to where she's like, hey, I'm going to teach you how to body jump these characters. I'm going to teach you how to do this. I'm going to teach you how to do that. She was that anchor. And when the moment happens, when she finds out the fate of her sister, is devastating. The last thing she gets from her sister is V Max. if I'm right. Yeah, she's like, VMAX, do you know what that is? Even the bad guy, the main guy in this guy is like, we got to study these mutants. Didn't even know what that was. Nobody knew what that was. Even Peter's like, what? She said that was the last thing she heard Sarah say. And he's like, do you know what VMAX is? He's like, no. And then that's the mystery. He's like, what is this? Is this another like weapon or this and that? No. When they're like, testing Jean's powers and trying to understand it, and like they're just hurting her. And my gosh, when she cranks her head back, she's looking at an AC unit. And it says VMAX because the sticker's kind of torn. I was like, oh my God. Before your sister died, her head cranked back, and the last thing she saw was that vent. And with the little sticker torn, just saying VMAX. And I was like, holy shit. I was like, oh my God. Like, it didn't have to be anything crazy or a weapon or anything. It was something so simple. I was like, the writing in this movie is so good. And also, too, when Aunt May gets to talk to Jean through Peter's mind. Because Peter has this ability where he shuts Jean Grey out. And he's able to. And I love when he finally, like, defeats the Hand. He accepts his new Spider-Man abilities and everything like that. He goes, no, I am both. I am Peter and I am Spider-Man. And then he goes on this crazy binge when he defeats the Hand. And when he gets to Jean and tells Jean, like, you don't have to do this. She's like, I'm going to look in your mind. And he's like, go ahead. And that moment between Aunt May and Jean was so beautiful. I mean, and everything with Peter and everything he's dealing with in this movie, especially with MJ, like, Jean is on a war path because she wants to find out what happened to her sister. I get it, and she takes over MJ's body for a split second. And this was so heart-wrenching where Spider-Man goes to MJ. He's just like, what do you mean I have to trust you? You're in danger. I have to help you. This and that. I just need to help you. And MJ's like, fine. And they go. Come to find out she wasn't even in control of herself at that moment. And then she's like, I feel like I know you. And she kisses him, and she pulls off Peter's mask and says, Peter. And then she kisses him again and hugs him. And then Spider-Man breaks down. And he's just like, I missed you so much. I miss you. And then all of a sudden she starts talking again. Then you realize it's Jean taking over MJ's mind. And then it's just like, oh, you bitch. And everything that goes on with Peter's so heartbreaking. And I love the dynamic between him and Frank, especially acting-wise, man. They're like little brothers, big brother, little brother. And I don't really know why Frank was in this movie. They didn't really establish the relationship, but I really want that 1 hour shot called Spider-Man and Punisher Staten Island. Something happened on Staten Island. But no, it was good. It was really good. I enjoyed this movie very much. I want to go see it again because I have to. And it's a very grounded Spider-Man movie. There's a great montage. You get to see Tombstone. You get to see Tarantula, Boomerang. Like, it's really cool. They did that in Spider-Man First Steps. Not Spider-Man First Steps. Fantastic Four First Steps. Their little montage of, like, obscure villains and stuff like that. I was like, okay, cool. And Peter's just being Spider-Man 24/7. And he goes to the Hulk, too. And, like, I think the Hulk got the bone of all of this because Jean uses him to get in his mind to help break into the safe at Damage Control. And the part in this movie that makes me go, like, oh, as a comic book guy is when he's like, no Banner, no girl, just Hulk. And he gets up there and he beefs up, and you're like, oh my God, Peter, run. And Peter even says, oh my God, I didn't know you can be that big, It's like, holy shit, dude. And this was a Hulk we've been waiting for, and the spell, I think, when Jean uses her mind control, it's kind of like wearing off because there's a moment where Hulk realizes it's Peter. He's like, Peter? And he's like, Banner, I'm your friend, remember me. And he kind of just sacrifices himself to let go. And in the moment when Jean, her powers spread out a few blocks in New York, and we think too that helps Ned and MJ that break that spell and slowly remember. And I love too with Frank, even though I'm still like questioning. I'm like, I don't understand why you're in this movie, but I understand why. He's just a shoot first, ask questions later, And Spidey's trying to tell him not to do that. And he tries to shoot Jean Grey, and he shoots Spider-Man by accident. And so I was like, oh, are we fucking killing Spider-Man? Like, is that what we're doing right now? And Frank has to live with that, that he shot Spider-Man, his closest thing to life as a person, And that whole ending sequence was great. New York coming together, the lights, I teared up then too, because they're showing no love for Spider-Man. And when he wakes up, it's all because Jean used her powers to help him breathe. Like, that was dope. I mean, the power of Jean Grey, and I can't wait to see what they do with Sadie Sink. I am very excited about it. The new X-Men universe is shaping up. I just cannot wait to see what they do with her and with the new gang of X-Men that they have planned after the Secret Wars. Then we have Doomsday. But, man, I really loved this movie. I thought this movie was fantastic. Spider-Man Brand New Day. And it was very grounded, which I really loved. And, yes, the question of being alone. You're never alone. You just have to ask for help. You just have to ask. And I like that Yolanda was there, too, to help Peter. And Peter was so infused, like no one knowing who he was. He never took off the mask for anybody, even MJ, until that one kiss. But still, like, he was so embedded in being Spider-Man. And when he stops being, when he's like, I'm both. This is who I am. I'm going to ask for help, And I'm just excited to see where they go next. They kind of tease, the transformation. I mean, because Ned developed this Spider-Man tracker. And in the end credit scene is that Spider-Man tracker. He's no longer in this Earth. He moved to another Earth. But is that the Spider-Man? Is that Tom Holland's Spider-Man? Or is it another Spider-Man? So it says Spider-Man will return, but which Spider-Man? They play tricks on you. There's plans for a Spider-Man 5, but I think what Kevin Feige said is like, let Tom Holland and Zendaya enjoy their flowers. And I highly agree with that. And the way they ended it with Ned and Peter doing the handshake and like, oh, Ned. And he's like, Peter? And I was like, oh my God, this is the perfect way to end this. And you have MJ on the roof of where they went to get quiet, to go to get to collect their thoughts. And like you can see MJ slowly regaining her memories back of who Peter was. And when she finally reads the note and tells him, like, this girl sounds great, she goes, that's not me. I don't love you. And I was like, damn, waited 5 years for the love of his life to be like, I don't love you. And it just keeps on coming with the hits of what's going on with Peter, and finally getting to his brand new day, and I was so happy. I don't know, this movie's great. When I walked out of the theater, I was like 8 out of 10, but at the moment right now, just because I keep thinking on it, I was like digging through the encyclopedias of everything. I was reading comic books. I started reading a bunch of Jean Grey stuff and all that, and I was just like, man, I love Spider-Man Brand New Day. It is so fucking good. Like, it's right up there with Spider-Man 2 as an emotional movie for me, because I love Spider-Man. I've been collecting Spider-Man for many years, and I understand his struggles, the ups and downs. And when he took off his mask in Civil War and everybody came after him, and the recreations of comic book moments in this movie was incredible. I mean, stuff I was like, oh, yes, the swing and Punisher holding him in his arms, like, Civil War, like all these recreations and stuff like that. I was just like, yes, it's like what they did in Fantastic Four, with Mole Man and all this and that. I was just like, yes, please. This is the eye candy I want. And his suit was gorgeous. I really enjoyed the swinging. I really enjoyed in the mask. You can hear his breathing, and he's falling down in the sky. I was like, oh, beautifully shot. A great story, and to say we're never alone. And now we're off to see what's going to happen next. And it's Doomsday and Secret Wars. And I saw too that the next Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse is coming up soon too. I was like, okay, but I want to go see Brand New Day again. I think it was so fucking good. I think I'm going to take a friend of mine, too, just because I want to see it. But that's it. That's all, man. I go see Spider-Man Brand New Day. It is wonderful. It is amazing. You know, thwip. This is why I love Spider-Man. And this is the movie that it just shows why. And I still love No Way Home. That movie makes me cry every single time. And this movie, in the last movie was like, you had those moments where I was like, oh my God, this is beautiful. And this was like, you had the beats where like, yes, you're supposed to feel that emotion. You're supposed to feel Peter's heartbreak. You're supposed to know what he's feeling. And that's what I like about it. Is like, you understand what he's giving up to be the hero. With great power comes great responsibility. And this movie has it all. So I'm really glad and happy I finally watched it. Oh, Spider-Man Brand New Day. Go check it out. And tell me what you think. Drop those comments below. Like and subscribe. Share with your grandma. Share with your grandpa. Share with the bum down in Walmart. I am KMB, the Sexy Ninja. And remember, stay sexy, ninjas. Woo woo!
No man, no girl, only Hulk.
I didn't know you could get that big.